I've been so fortunate to have worked with, like you, the greatest voices of this generation, or maybe any generation. Where do you start? Barbra Streisand, Anne Murray, Kenny Rogers, country stars like Garth Brooks and George Strait, Celine. They're all, so different and unique. Every experience and every songwriting experience with one of these giants is, as you know, can be kind of crazy and fun and hell and different. And so there's really no favorites. I do have one that always stands out when I actually got to produce a track, a song that I wrote for a movie with Ringo, and hitting that talkback button and saying, "Can you do that one more time, Ringo?" That's that surreal moment that I will never forget. My mom tells me I came out singing. I would bang my head in the crib and hear orchestral music. I later found out, coincidentally enough, through a friend of mine who's a psychiatrist, and no, I wasn't having psychotherapy, but we were talking about that exact thing, about where does it come from, where does that gift, or and I saw music as a very young child as colors. I saw these plasma bubbles, is the best way to explain it, almost like a lava lamp. And people used to think I was crazy, because when I close my eyes, and to this day I do, when I hear music or when I'm playing, if I close my eyes, I see the shapes of what I'm hearing. And he said, "That's synesthesia." And I said, "I don't know what that is." And he explained it to me, and I read up on it. And it's a pretty rare occurrence where it's a cross balance or a cross wiring of senses. All through my life, I heard musically whatever it was I was doing, whether I'd get into a car with my mom and it was raining and she turned the windshield wipers, and the windshield wipers, that rhythm became a symphony in my head. Someone hits a home run at a Little League game, I'd be musicalizing it. Mm-hmm. And I'd ask my friends, "How'd you hear that?" And they'd look, "What are you talking?" Because I thought everybody. And finally at age, 10, 11, 12, I started, goofing around, writing tunes, writing horrible lyrics, and writing pretty, crazy songs. And I think the first song I remember writing was called "The Family Grocer," and it was about, wait for it, the family grocer. Was in a few little bands when I was in my teens, got thrown out of the band I formed. And that was the end of my performing career. And so I said, you know what, I got thrown out because I wanted to write original songs. They wanted to play Wipeout and Louie Louie and make money. I didn't want to make money, I just wanted to write songs. I think it saved me a lot of hours of songwriter therapy, realizing early on that I was never going to be the next James Taylor. Yeah. And that writing for other artists was really my passion. I grew up in New York, went to school in Georgia and started writing songs for a publisher in Atlanta. Came to California, and the big breakthrough was Clint Eastwood. He gave me my shot with Every Which Way But Loose. There was a big artist that had written a song for that movie, and Clint did not like it. And at the last minute they were scrambling. And I got a phone call from a music supervisor to try to write a song called Every Which Way But Loose. I said, "What?" And we did, Milton Brown and I did, and we got the song, and Clint loved the song, and he said, "You know what, have you ever scored a movie?" And I went, "I'd love to." And he gave me my shot. I work with several different collaborators, and every one is its own little magical thing. I think of Eric Kaz and I. You know Eric, he's one of my best friends and a great songwriter, and we've written a lot of successful hits. But we're both kind of quirky, and we both kind of do the same thing lyrically and musically. So when we write, it's kind of like a tug of war sometimes, musically and then lyrically. But we've learned that we know what each other's strengths are. One of my favorite stories is a song called I Cross My Heart, which was originally recorded by Bette Midler. And Arif Mardin, the great producer, called me and said, "Dust off your shelf. You're going to win a big award for this song. This song is magnificent." Bette cut it. It was not good. It just wasn't the right marriage between a song and an artist. And I think you have to have that marriage between a great voice and a great song for it to be a hit. She struggled with it. To her credit, she decided that it just wasn't in her wheelhouse. Arif called me, broke my heart. 3 years of songwriter therapy later, I started playing this song for everybody I knew. Everybody said, "Yeah, Steve, it's nice, not one of your best." Played it for my mom. I figured, I'll get some kind of validation here. My mother loves everything, right? I sit down, I play. "You want to hear a new song I wrote?" Yeah. Play her the song. She says, "It's nice, not one of your best." 8 years later, got to play it for George Strait for a movie. He kind of didn't like it either, but we twisted his arm. He gave it a shot. He sang it. He owned it. It was that perfect marriage, and it's a huge hit. Big standard, wedding standard. So many people have gotten married to that song, including me. It didn't work for me, but hey. And CMT, Country Music Television, voted it the 9th greatest country love song ever written, which is funny because when Kazzy and I wrote it, we did an all for one, Boys to Men kind of demo. Yeah. So go figure. I've got this memoir coming out, a book, which has been kind of fun. When I first was asked to write it, I said, "God, it's hard enough writing a 4.5-minute song, let alone a book, 300-page book." But it came out great. It's coming out November 1st. It's called, I wrote that one too, A Life in Songwriting, From Willie to Whitney. That would be Willie Nelson and Whitney Houston. I have a musical opening June 9th in Dallas called Pure Country, which is based on the movie. Another musical called Josephine that we hope will be in New York next spring, 2018. Writing a few songs for the wall. You write because you have to, and when you feel it. I write pretty much anymore when I'm motivated, when I'm feeling something, when I'm heartbroken, or when I'm never happy. So it's mostly when I'm heartbroken. Yeah, when women break my heart, hey, I get good songs out of the deal. So the one thing that does carry on over the generations with songwriters is be prepared to pick yourself up and dust yourself off a couple of 100 times a week. It's a business of rejection. I'm gonna steal a line from my buddy Eric Kaz. Most of what we do is similar to an iceberg. You see maybe 15-20% of it is above water. 80% of what we write as songwriters generally never gets heard. That's why you have this great platform with qWaqqchat. How was that for a segue? Some of our best work has never had that exposure, has never had that shot to be heard. What you're doing is giving us a platform to have some of those undiscovered gems get out there in some form.